link off of here. I got to figure out where it's at. It's like, oh my gosh, I get it going and then I can't find it to get it off. This is our little, recording studio, But anyway, hello, welcome back to another episode. We're in our 22nd episode of Three Little Ladies. You know that?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that, but okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
And so am I. Good to see you all.
And the name that I gave it was 1,300 More Homes in Lake Wales. What the heck?
That must be Stoneridge.
So let's introduce ourselves. First, we have Charlene.
Juanita Swarchuk. Hi.
Okay.
I'm Charlene Bennett. Hello to all you folks out there.
Catherine Price here. And we're going to get down to brass tacks about we're three little ladies. We're from Lake Wales, Florida. And for the last couple of years, we've been doing this little podcast where we talk primarily about what's going on in city government in Lake Wales, because we're in just this uncontrolled growth phase of our town. And so we've been trying to educate people about what's going on down at City Hall and hopefully get a few more people down there helping us out to talk to the city commission. Right, guys?
Yeah. Come on down. We need you. We need your input.
So we were down there last Wednesday, which was August 27th, this past Wednesday, 3 days ago. And so Charlene, would you just start out and tell us what these workshops are about, when they are, and why they are?
Well, they're 1 week preceding every commission meeting on a Wednesday. The commission meetings are on Tuesday. The preceding Wednesday, they have what's called a workshop, 2:00. It's a place where, for them, the commissioners and the staff, to discuss upcoming agenda items, make sure everybody understands it, etc. Public can attend, but public cannot speak. It's always good to go to that if you can, because you do learn things that you don't hear at the commission meeting, because they figure if they've already talked about it at the workshop that they don't have to say it again at the commission meeting. So it's nice. But of course it's hard for some people who are work or who are in a car ride or line picking up a kid. They can't come to a 2:00 meeting. So then you just have to come to the regular commission meeting without that advantage.
You can go to the live stream and they record it. You can listen to it later. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to the City of Lake Wales website, they have agendas. I know sometimes it's a little hard to navigate, but if you work at it, you can figure it out. And if you can hit accept on that little disability thing that comes up over the front all the time. I've talked to them down there about it, but they say it's important because it's about disabilities and they won't take it off. So, but if you go in there, you can get agendas, minutes, you can see the videos from the previous meetings, and you can watch the meetings live when they're going on, most of the important city commission meetings.
Right. Mm-hmm. I've listened to a few of them when I was doing other things. And I listen to them live stream, but I'm in the car or I'm going into the supermarket, but I can still listen to it, by clicking on live stream there.
Uh-huh. Well, when you live stream, it's when they're actually happening, but they also archive the videos so that you can listen to the previous meetings and stuff.
But they only record for video the commission meeting, not the workshops.
I've watched the workshops.
You have? Okay.
All right. I was wondering about planning and zoning meetings, but
they don't do P&Z. They don't record P&Z.
They don't. That's right. They don't
record. They do record the CRA. They record the workshop and they record the commission meetings. Yep.
Okay.
And the CRA is the Community Redevelopment Agency, which is also all of our city commissioners are on that board. A lot of
Okay.
people don't understand all these acronyms we throw around.
Right, right.
We want to make a note that we're going to talk about some things that are going to happen in this upcoming week city commission meeting. But FYI, big FYI, they have changed the day. Usually the city commission meetings are on Tuesday at 6 p.m. every other Tuesday. But this month or this day is on Wednesday. I think it has something to do with laws about the budget because they are going to have the budget presented and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So don't show up on Tuesday. It won't be going on. Come on Wednesday.
Yep.
So anyway, let's talk real quick about Lake Wales and where we're at right now with this. Remember Lake Wales Envision? We've talked about that on several occasions, that it was this plan that the city came up with several years ago to try to make our city grow in a more beautiful and livable way. And we spent $500,000 or $600,000 on this plan. And now, it seems like they're making every effort to kind of skirt it. But where are we at with homes that have been approved, Charlene?
Oh, I can't give you the number. I haven't checked on that lately. The total number that's been approved, I think it's in the vicinity of 40,000, 41, 42.
No, I think that's too high. It's like 17, 18.
No, it's 18,000 alone, or at Peace Crossing. Yeah.
Well, we have a lot already approved, and we only have a population right now of about 17,000 people in the city.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about a development that they are going to do what they call a second reading on Wednesday. The first reading was back in May. And then they have to come back and they have to bring it back before the commission, and they have what they call a second reading. And this is some land that they're going to annex into the city and then change the zoning on. So you want to talk about that just a minute there, Charlene?
Okay. It is, if you're going to the meeting or you're watching, it will come up under old business. First, there will be a long stretch of consent agenda stuff, which will go very fast. And then under old business, the first 6 items on the agenda are all about Stoneridge. But it's really very simple because it's talking about 2 different parcels of land that together make up Stoneridge. One's very small, 38 acres, and the rest of it's very large, over 1,000 acres. And it's about these 6 items boil down to annexing these 2 properties, changing the map and the zoning for each of them. It's 3 things that are happening, covered in all these 6 things. And just to simplify it, if everybody wants, just pay attention to the very first one, which is going to be 10.1. And if you're going to get up and speak, you just pick 10.1. And get up and speak when they introduce it. So it's complicated. And then when you get to the new business, there's yet another item that relates to Stoneridge. It's a little vacation of right-of-way stuff that it's not very relevant to us. It's something that's okay if they pass the project.
Well, the project itself is about 1,300 acres. It's east of where the airport, the Lake Wales Airport. It's right along 60. It's that big cow field right east of where you turn down to go into the airport, that area. It cuts in behind West Lake Wales. And then there's I think the 38-acre parcel is on the north side of 60. So most of this is on the south side. And in the past, they had also annexed and changed the zoning on a piece of property, a large piece on the north side of 60 there.
No,
So
Lake
it
Wales Commons.
that
Yeah.
was called Lake Wales Commons, right? Exactly. And so this item is going to be up for second reading. It could potentially bring 1,300 new homes or more to that property. And we think there's about 300 plus acres that they're talking about for some kind of commercial or something like that, although that is kind of unclear.
And that would mean over 3,000 more people.
Well, people average about 3 houses per household.
Or
So
three
we're talking
people.
about adding another
Yeah.
1,300 houses to the already overabundance of housing that we have in Lake Wales right now.
Yeah.
Heaven help you if you need to sell your house right now.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to talk about it, as one of the concerns that the residents have about this, but we'll get to that, when you finish what you're saying.
Well, that's basically it. And we wanted to talk about some of our concerns about this Stoneridge property. And, Juanita, did you want to start off and say a few things?
Yeah, well, I'll take off on, first of all, what you were talking about. I mean, home values are decreasing in this area, in Polk County general, right? It's a competitive market. All of the new housing that's being built is causing prices to go down on homes that are already here and homes that are being built. Competitive market means there's a lot of competition out there. Besides the fact that Polk County has the highest foreclosure rate in the country. So people are having a difficult time to begin with holding on to the houses they already have. And that's an issue we need to deal with before we start building new houses. And also that there's a lot of stress on the infrastructure that comes along with having more houses. And they never seem to give us any information on, for example, whether the impact fees are really going to take care of all the additions that we need for traffic, for fire safety, for the police. We don't get any information on that when we're asked to agree to allow them to have this piece of property annexed into Lake Wales. So we're kind of like, it's like a pig in a poke. You're taking a chance. And the funny thing is that, it's not really funny, is that this is a very unstable market and unstable time for us to be taking a chance. That's the way I feel about it. And I think there are a lot of people that feel that way because we've had these same issues expressed by other residents that have come to meetings.
I want to follow up on something you said, Juanita. My daughter, who works with growth management in Polk County, always says developments never pay for themselves. And you were talking about that the impact fees are never adequate. So what we end up with is, in order to pay for things that have gone on in the past that weren't covered adequately with impact fees, the county commissioners their solution to it is to add more developments, because that's how you get more tax revenue to pay for past stuff. That is a race to the bottom when you're always chasing more growth in order to cover the costs of the past growth. It's a hopeful thing. And if every community in the world does it, obviously you see where it leads. It leads to an overpopulated, overpaved earth. So that's
not only that, but it's like you have to, with these impact fees, you're not only looking at what the immediate costs are, you have to look at the cost of maintaining those homes and that infrastructure, the roads, the sewers, the schools and all that. And a lot of times when you're putting in certain types of housing, lower cost housing, which we have a lot of now in our community, this is not to disparage lower cost housing, but a lot of those kind of that housing does not generate enough taxes to support the services that are needed for those people.
And have we seen a traffic, what do you call it? Any information, study on what's going to happen,
No.
on our major highways with all these new people? I've never seen it. I've never heard them talk about it. They assume it's just going to be okay, or they have the information and they don't give it to us, one or the other.
Yeah, and then there's the environmental issues. You want to say something about that, Catherine? You're kind of looked into that.
Well, what I wanted to do is I'm going to put up a couple of pictures here. I want to put up a picture of the actual project area. Let me see if I can get that. I think this is it. See if this is it. Yeah. Okay. So, well, actually, this is not it. I went in and I kind of circled what I thought. This is kind of the airport. This is Lake Wales. West Lake Wales right here. It kind of cuts across that big field and then in behind.
If you're using a cursor to point to something, I can't see it on my computer, so maybe other people can't either.
Can you see it there, Juanita? Me with a cursor?
Move it a little. Try to move it and I'll see. No, I don't see it.
No, okay. It's not showing.
Okay, well, I want to put in something else. You see the blue line there?
You can can you use your finger to point to it?
Well, the finger won't show up on the map.
Oh, okay.
You have to kind of look at the blue line. See how Highway 60 at the top?
Yes.
And then that purple area south of Highway 60 is like the airport area.
Uh-huh.
And then if you go over to the left of the blue line and this kind of a orangey thing, that is West Lake Wales.
Yep.
So let me get another map. These are the map. I also started playing around with the FEMA maps and trying to see, because there's a lot of wetland in there. Those hatched areas are, and actually, the reason I brought this map up is this is Lake Wales envisioned. And all of that green area is supposed to be, according to our $600,000 city plan, is supposed to be green space.
Yeah,
but that's right, and that's right where the project is going.
Yeah, how can they do that? I mean, really?
Well, they can do what they want, but the problem is, let's see. Here's the other one I wanted to bring up. This right here is. Let me take that one off and put up another one picture. This is the FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency or Administration, their flood maps. And you see all this green and that kind of bluish green. This is the area, the same area. A lot of these areas are in FEMA A, which is top flood plain area. So I'm not, can you see that, guys?
Yeah.
Can you imagine able, insurance must cost if you had a house in that flood area, what insurance would cost for your house?
The brown areas are probably not but the problem is when you have an area where there's that much flood prone water, if you have 2 or 3 hurricanes, theoretically, it could spread further out of those areas into other areas.
Are you able, Catherine, to point out, to help people identify where this project is located? Say how far west of that?
You can't see my cursor at all.
No, we can't.
That is weird. You would think you could see the cursor. Let me see if I can.
Can you locate it in relation to Lake Wales Road South that goes up and
so do you see the top of this picture is Highway 60?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you come down to the left, on the left side, it says West Lake Wales.
Yes.
Okay.
West.
And then if you go up into sort of the area above the what do you call it? The area, what do you call it? Anyway, it's the place where it tells you what the stuff is. Go to the left.
The legend.
Yeah, the legend. Yeah. It says Lake Wales Municipal Airport. There's the airport.
Yeah, I have
So
a few things to say about that too, but go ahead.
I was having a hard time getting the entire area into this map. It seemed like when I reduce it down, then the flood zones would go away. But I just wanted to see, I wanted you to see even parts of the airport and the runways are on these highly floodable areas.
Yeah. Well,
So this, I just wonder, has anybody looked at the environmental, ramifications of this whole thing?
I'm hoping there's going to be a speaker there who's going to cover some of the environmental issues. A young lady from Winter Haven who spoke on that issue last time. I'm really hoping she'll show up this time and talk a bit about that.
The other question I wanted to pose, more of a rhetorical question, as they say, is what kind of homes are going to be built there? I mean, who's going to want to live right under the the airport runway? And is this
the airport itself? I mean, for our economic growth here in Lake Wales, the airport is a very important asset, and it needs room to grow. As we grow industrially, right, with jobs, we want to be able to increase the airport to handle more. And if they lock it in with this Stoneridge, that stymies the growth of the airport. That's the first thing, right? And of course, being an airport, it's going to make a lot of noise pollution. Your baby at 2:00 might wake up for a feeding, but you don't want her to wake up because of a plane going overhead. So, that's going to be an issue. Who's going to buy a home that close to the airport? And the other thing that I noticed, I don't know too much about this, but apparently there are very stringent height restrictions on buildings that can be built around that airport. And I was looking, and of course it tells you so many feet, you can go 5 feet and then you go 5 feet higher. I don't understand all that, but it made me think that, okay, so if they build to meet the requirements a certain length away from the airport now, what about in 4 years? Are those buildings going to meet the height requirement, or are they going to be too close? Or there's just all kinds of issues. And I know that at the commission meetings, the commissioners are always just have so many good things to say about our airport. I think we should give it a little more consideration rather than stymie it with unneeded growth around it.
Well, and I have concerns when we're putting as many houses into Lake Wales, that people always talking about our commission and, the economic development folks are always talking about needing jobs. But you can only grow jobs so fast. Jobs you have to be organized, you have to have planning, you have to put together, all the different pieces to develop, companies that are going to be good and provide good, stable jobs for people in our community. And when you're putting this many homes in of people that need jobs without jobs, you're creating sort of an economic disaster area. In some
You're reminding me that one of the points that this developer makes, or that his agent makes about this, is, won't it be nice to have people who can have jobs right where they live, and they don't have to drive far to their jobs? But we have no idea if the kinds of jobs that might come there are in the price range of the people that people will have to be in if they buy the houses. I mean, that's just a pipe dream as far as I'm concerned, because they can't document or prove that in any way.
Well, I don't understand why we can't have the industry, the business without the residential, in the sense that I think we have enough houses and people that are supposedly coming to Lake Wales right now to fill all jobs that we could possibly develop in that type of a situation.
Wasn't that Carol Gillespie's idea? Carol Gillespie said, build the industry first and maybe put in the contract that you have to put in a certain amount of industry and have it
Mhm.
filled, and then think about adding any houses there. I thought
That's
that was a pretty good idea.
That's that phase development idea. I know that Howie Davies got up and proposed it at one meeting, but the commission, as I recall, they either rejected it or they just ignored it. They aren't looking at the kinds of details like that and like the ones we're talking about here. And that's one of the unfortunate things about this project, this a mixed use development, master development plan thing, as they're calling it. It's general. There are no specifics, nothing that addresses the kinds of stuff that we're talking about here. And they can pass it without ever addressing any of these issues or asking or answering any of our questions. They can do it, and they just might.
And Charlene, isn't it true? I mean, maybe it isn't true, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it true that they could annex this with the idea of this particular Stoneridge going in, and then the person who owns the property decides to do something completely different with it, and then they ask for another zoning change, and then it's harder to say no because it's already part of Lake Wales? Am I off base on this? Or
They couldn't really. They would have to come back for zoning changes or something if they wanted to change it, because with this mixed or master development plan thing, there's certain percentages that they have to meet with commercial, residential, industrial, public use, etc. And if they tried to make drastic change, they would have to come back to the city to get permission for that. But
of course,
it wouldn't be
the city never lets them change, right?
The city says yes to all things developers want to do.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why
I think we should be encouraging our city commissioners to ask some more penetrating questions in this regard.
Absolutely.
And I want to applaud Carol Gillespie in the last workshop. She said, I feel like this is irresponsible for us to be passing this with what we have here. And I agree with Carol. There need to be some more questions asked and answered in a significant manner about what these people are planning to do before we hitch our wagon to them. And some of our commissioners seem to feel that it is not their responsibility to ask these questions or to in any way impose anything on these developers. But we live here and we have to live with the consequences as the taxpayers of the city.
Yes.
If all they're going to do is okay things, they should get an auto pen.
Well, we need to be encouraging them in ways other than that, and we need to be asking them to do that for us. And that's why we need more people to come out to these meetings and to take an active, interested, and informed participation in the meetings. And when you come, you do have to be there on time to fill out a speaker card. Charlene, are there any other items on the agenda that we need to bring to people's attention for?
I really don't think there are. Everything else is pretty ordinary and non-controversial. There is something about Connor Road, which is just the matter of the city taking over a county road that will be needed as part of that big Wintercorp project on 27 that's now called Peace Crossing. And that's the biggest project of all. It's far bigger than Stoneridge or Lake Wales Commons. It's monstrous. If I had my way, I would say, let's just do that one big one and forget all this other stuff, because that one big one probably will be pretty nice. And it's located within the city already. It's not annexing a bunch of stuff. So, but anyway, I'm digressing a little bit here from the Stoneridge or the agenda items, I guess.
So we want to recap that the meeting this week for the City Commission is not on Tuesday as usual. It's on Wednesday at 6 p.m. at City Hall. Be there on time if you want to speak. And they have agendas there, or you can pull them off the website and then determine the items that you want to speak to on the agenda.
And come a little early if you want to, because you have to fill out that speaker card. And incidentally, on the speaker card, you do not have to fill out everything. You don't have to fill out the personal stuff. You got to put your name and the date, and you've got to list the item that you want to talk about. In this case, it's 10.1 Stoneridge. You don't have to put your address or your phone number or your email. Especially people don't like to put their address on there. So you can skip some of that stuff.
And you can come and you can speak even if you don't live in the city.
Right, I was just going to say that.
We need to be clear, because a lot of the people in West Lake Wales and out there west of town are not in the city, they're in the county. But they have every right by Florida law to come in and speak to this commission. Finally, I just wanted to say that I've been going out to Babson Park a lot. And on the south side of Babson Park, off of Hollister Road, there's this view off of the top of that ridge over Crooked Lake, which is one of the most amazing vistas in the state of Florida. And I have some friends that have been trying to see if they could get some of that land protected for, the public for some time. It's called Windy Hill. And I'm thinking maybe we might be able to get one of them to come in and do an interview in the near future, because, I think that is an iconic place in Florida that I think it'll be such a shame if we aren't able to protect it in some way.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Something for the future.
Yep. And we want to see some of you guys down at City Hall on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there.
And
Juanita will be there.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. We made it in 32 minutes.